Good morning. Today is Sunday, April 6th, 2025, and this is the weekly Bitcoin price forecast. Looking at where Bitcoin went in the last week and where it could potentially go in the future. As everyone has seen this week, it's been a pretty brutal week across the board for several different markets. Stock market has crashed. The dollar indexes have crashed, like some of the biggest crashes that we've seen since COVID and then 2008, and then you have things like the dot-com bubble, and maybe we'll look at that later too. But all in all, Bitcoin has still remained flat. It has not tanked the way that other things have. So like some things have gone down like 17%. The NASDAQ, I think, has gone down like 17% this year, and then like 8% in the last couple months. Well, last week really. So even if this went down like 8%, that would be somewhere at 75. We've already tapped 75 and proved that we could do that. So it's a really good sign actually that Bitcoin did not move. It stayed where it needed to stay. And yeah, like when everything else is tanking, I mean, you want the thing that you're holding to be able to have some power and have some levity to it. So to me, that's a good sign. So let's take a look at the week, and I think things become a little bit more clear as well. So if you look at it, you have, I'm really just following the white line, right? So you have a bounce here off the white line. Makes this huge leap. I think that took it all the way up to 74,000-ish. That one bounce off the white line, then this next bounce took it up to 100 something. And then essentially what this next bounce will do is it'll take it just so much higher. So let's say, for argument's sake, that we do some type of Fibonacci retracement or extension, really. So, I don't want to do that. Too many numbers, too much stuff. Again, but always paying attention to price. Like that's the thing you want to do is like always pay attention to your price and like see where this is. So I just use the drawings to really guide where we're at. So only a couple major points that need to be pointed out here. So we talked about the March 2024 all-time high. That goes all the way back to here once it kind of came up and tapped this area. So that support, you have this white moving average, which is your 50 moving average. So it's been 50-week moving average at this point. And so you see it tapped it once and couldn't even go anywhere below that. So that is very strong. And it's above this too. And you have this channel. You have this channel that's moving ever so slightly upward. And that the bottom of that is here too. So it's just so much stuff in this area that is just really prime for bouncing. Even this downward channel, right? So up, down. So the next expected move is up. So really, it's nothing but good stuff ahead. Bitcoin has held its price miraculously through all this. It's really good. So, I mean, think about it. Like this last week with all the craziness happening, it didn't get below 80,000. Like it couldn't break below 80,000 at this point. So that's really good to see. Really good to see for sure. We'll kind of talk a little bit more in depth about the stock market and kind of why things like that happen. I've already been talking about it for a while. It's called the yen carry trade. Like that is one of the major drivers of this thing. And then just other factors too, tariffs and the AI and Mag 7 not holding up really that well. So, all stuff that kind of plays into this. So you have, again, this is that same channel going up and down and up and down. And then it's just stayed flat. It has stayed flat we'll call it from right here. 26 days straight. So almost a month. It's just been in this little tight range pretty much between 82 and 87. Just $5,000 just bouncing back and forth consistently. And then you're right here. So worst case, hey, maybe you have one more flash crash down to 77. And then you continue to go up super fast. But I don't even know if that'll happen at this point. And if so, it'll be quick. And then things will go to the upside. I think that's pretty much it to talk about Bitcoin. I mean, that's my overall stuff. I mean, like this area is very well protected, and this area could be reached pretty quickly once. I think you're going to start having a lot of catalysts come in the system pretty soon. A lot of people being driven towards Bitcoin as a store of value and a flight to safety. So yeah, listen, I've always said that Bitcoin, I see it as an economic life raft. I see it as something that really can help to bolster your portfolio and really protect it during uncertainty. And we're definitely in a time of uncertainty for sure. So let's take a look. So last week, the news forecast was the economic news really. It was a very labor heavy week. So these don't really matter. Joel's job openings were down just a little bit. Non-farm employment change, that's the big one. So this one actually exceeded expectation pretty well. It exceeded, that's COVID, so that always kind of skews the data. But the gold bar is the expected, and then you have the actual. So this beat expectations in April. So April's, well, I guess this would be March job numbers, but it was released in April. It did very well. So that's another reason that the Feds could potentially lower interest rates pretty soon. And then we'll see inflation this upcoming week. This upcoming week on Thursday, inflation numbers will be released. Everything they're expecting like 2.6. So they're expecting inflation to drop, which at this point will further kind of push the Federal Reserve to kind of decrease interest rates. So a lot of moving parts here. I think it's almost inevitable that happens. And let me see. I need to chart my laptop real quick. Basically, what ends up happening here, U.S. stocks see the biggest two-day wipeout in history as the stock market loses $11 trillion since inauguration day. So basically, it's like Trump's presidency hasn't been too hot for stocks, but he's also been very vocal with saying that he's not really concerned about the stock market. His goal right now is to decrease the interest rate ahead of the rebalancing of the debt, essentially, that America owes. So we're already like $1.1 trillion in interest payments per year. Trying to get those numbers down. Like we can save money somewhere, but it's unfortunately going to sacrifice the stock market in the short term. Because I think there's going to be a heavy rebound pretty soon too. In the same way as you saw it in COVID and other kind of major stocks spikes like this too, I should say. So yeah, stocks erased $6.6 trillion of value on Thursday and Friday, just Thursday and Friday. So half of this whole year's losses have been just on Thursday and Friday. It looks like the U.S. market cap, like it just fell off a cliff on Thursday and Friday, pretty much as Liberation Day, quote unquote, was Tuesday. I'm sorry, that was Wednesday, and then everything after that, the market reacted on Thursday and Friday. I was talking about like the interest rates and treasury yields. So one thing that has been happening is treasury yields have been coming down all year. And what does this mean? Like, so you can buy U.S. treasuries and they yield a certain amount. This is basically supporting the U.S. dollar. So you have 30-year yields, 10-year yields, 5-year yields, and these are the major ones that people pay attention to. These are more short-term treasury yields. But anyway, so the yields have been coming down. So that means there's kind of more demand for the dollar and whatnot, which is good for the U.S. economy and kind of gives the Fed more room to lower interest rates, which again, this is what I keep talking about. We're lowering interest rates, making money a little bit cheaper, and overall prices come down. So, these are your treasury yields right now. And like the big thing we're seeing is that they are coming down. This is the 1 year, and this is in the last month. Again, most of the decrease has been in this last month. And this is as of Friday. So, I think they are going to lower interest rates pretty soon here. Let's just look at the stock market real quick. So I opened this up. This is just like the Trading View main page. So this is the NASDAQ. This is like the tech heavy stock index pretty much, but this is over the last year. It's over the last 5 years really. So back in 2021, 22, we came down, came all the way back up. At this point, but this last couple of days, really since February, we've just been on this major downslope. And it's really erased the gains over the last year. So we look like the 1 year gains, we're actually down a little bit. We're down 5% in the last year if you've just been holding the NASDAQ. And then, so I mean, that's one stock market. Well, it's one of the indexes. And then the other one this is not the main page. I want to go to the main page. There we go. Yeah, so you see like the S&P, look at that 5 year. It's the same chart pretty much. It just went up from 2021, 22, and it dropped. Just as the Dow Jones will. All this came up and dropped off. The Japanese stock market, the Nikkei. It's just been stagnant. No, that's a day. Let's look at a year. Yeah, fell off a cliff. It again in August fell off a cliff. I think there's more room to fall here. 5 years the same, fell off a cliff. Obviously it's just a race of gains here. So really, kind of going back a year at least, those gains would have been erased. So yeah, no. Again, I've been saying for a while, Japan is important. Japan is important. The U.S. Treasury yields are important. The interest rates are important. Like all eyes on those things right now, and seeing how those shape out because there is a political aspect to this. I think that even Bitcoin. I don't usually look at the politics, but this is one where you're having a shifting political landscape for a new asset class, which would be crypto. So it's better to understand what the regulations are. Normally, again, if I'm just trading a normal asset, I probably wouldn't do that. But this is something that I want people to see, though. Like again, look at it. All of these things fell off. All these stocks over the last couple of days. But on Friday, going into the end of the day, GameStop was up 11.33%. Again, they've just adopted Bitcoin. So they've just adopted Bitcoin. They have a lot of retail hype behind them. But all these stocks were down. GameStop was up. GameStop was up for sure. And again, I think this tweet is correct. So what's everyone's saying about relative strength? That liquidity black hole is starting. So I think all of these assets around it, they have to be sold off at a certain point to go to GameStop, and there's a reason for that. Wall Street has gotten greedy as they do, and I think it's time that they're actually paying for it. So we'll see. We will definitely see how this ends up shaping out, but. I think it's going to be an exciting couple of weeks for anyone who holds Bitcoin or anyone who holds GameStop. And as Bitcoin goes, other things will follow as well. So I think that's about it. I don't really have too much else. So this has been Chris Talks Crypto. Check out your crypto-based resources on christalkscrypto.com. Check out the Escape Velocity course for Pulse on Crypto, and I will see y'all on the move. Take care. Bye-bye.